Hey guys, I'm Ben.
I'm Simon, I play bass.
My name's Gus, I'm the singer.
And John, I play guitar.
I'm Fraser and I play guitar as well.
And we are a band from the UK called Young Guns, and we're here today in Cleveland doing some press before we go home for our first break in a little while.
So how's the tour been going? How long have you been out for and who you were playing with?
How long have we been out for?
It's pretty short one, isn't it? About 2 weeks?
Couple of weeks,
I think.
this one,
Yeah,
yeah.
just kind of over 2 weeks with a band called 3 Days Grace.
Right.
So it's been a mix of kind of their shows and some festivals.
Stuff like that, yeah.
But yeah, it's been a fun tour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's this wasn't a long tour, was it really? But it's directly off the back of like 3 or 4 other consecutive tours.
Right.
We did like this one, and then before that we just did a headline tour in the UK, and then before that we were back over here with Breaking Benjamin, and before that we were in the UK doing another headline tour. So
It's been like 4 months or something
It's been
since
4
we've
months.
had. Hence why we look so tired.
yeah, so we're ready for a little break.
Does anything stand out as a highlight so far?
Well, I think we're all really glad to finally have released our album, Ones
Right.
and Zeros, because I mean that's been out for now since the 9th of June, so it's
Yeah.
very recent.
Right.
But I think I can speak for all of us when I say it's been really great playing a whole bunch of new material. We released our last album 3 years ago or something like that. So, you know, to be finally on stage playing new music and to be seeing it go down really well has been like a really, really great thing.
Can you talk about that record a little bit? You recorded it in the States, right?
Well, the album's got a bit of a drawn out. It had a bit of like a
Okay.
drawn out like birth process. Really,
Okay.
we originally flew out to basically experiment and write and record some music with a guy called Dan the Automator.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we would consider that the beginning of the recording process. But that was in when was that? Last year, like March, maybe?
February
February.
last year, yeah.
And we were out there for 5 weeks or so, and so it was kind of like a bit of an experiment, I suppose. And we went out there and we decided after those couple of weeks that it wasn't necessarily kind of what we wanted
Right.
the record to be. So we came home and reconvened and chatted about what we did want the album to be, and then we ended up recording it in Bath in England with a guy called Steve Osborne. So definitely a long and drawn out process, more so than we would have liked, but we've gotten there in the end, and I think it's a really interesting, broad kind of, I'd say maybe most mature album
Yeah.
that we've done, I think.
Yeah, what would you say you're going for sonically with the songs?
I don't think there was anything. It wasn't really like that conscious of a decision. It was just
Kind of
an
more what we
evolution,
didn't-
I
It
guess.
was more what we didn't want, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, like you were saying, like the last album was released 3 years ago,
Right.
maybe like 5 years ago. So there's obviously a natural evolution that's occurred, and I guess we just taken more from our musical influences and different genres that we listen to, and
I think we wanted to have a broader sound on this album. You know, we'll always be a rock band, won't we? But at the same time, I think we wanted to do a little more within
Right.
the kind of the genre, I suppose. We wanted to be a little more interesting, and so we brought a lot of new instruments on board. There's more of a synth element, and some kind of digital beats and stuff like that are a lot more prevalent than they used to be for us.
It was more fun. It was really fun to do that as well, wasn't it? Each song would experiment with different styles of recording and like anything from different drum kits to like when we even wrote this stuff. Like some of it was written in New York, San Francisco, on the road, somewhere back at home in London. So every song's kind of got its own story, its own kind of purpose, which makes it, you know, put more
Right.
texture to the album.
You guys also have a good sense of melody. Where would you say that comes from?
We have pop influences.
Well, we
Yeah.
listen to a lot of pop music, it's true.
Right.
But I think fundamentally we're all just fans of melody, aren't we? Like, we love hooks, we love accessible anthemic music. I mean, that's not to say that that's all we listen to, because we all listen to a really broad range of music. But I think we all derive a satisfaction and an enjoyment from writing what we'd like to hope are like strong melodies and strong hooks. You know, that's something that we aim for, and I think it's a kind of a common goal when we do. And I think that's kind of almost the fundamental thing that defines our band, is we want to be known as a kind of a melodically strong,
Right.
kind of a band with well-written songs, I suppose.
If you had to isolate influences, what would they be?
Well, I mean, I guess as one of the principal like melody writers, being a vocalist, personally, the musical education I had growing up was all the music that my mum listened to. So a lot of mainstream stuff in the 80s. So a lot
Right.
of Michael Jackson, Prince, you know, Roxy music, stuff like that.
Right.
The Police,
Right.
Sting, all of that kind of stuff was really a part of my early kind of musical taste, and then when I was 13 or 14 or so, I got into kind of rock and things like that through my older brother's CD collection, and I was really drawn to early melodic bands like Nirvana or Green Day, who, although they had attitude and aggression
Right.
and energy, fundamentally they had a real knack for digestible, strong melody, and I think that subconsciously always kind of ticked in the back of my mind.
Right. Yeah. So what's next for you guys?
Well, the record's just come out, so really it's just touring, isn't it? As much touring as
Yeah.
we can do.
Yeah, we head back to the UK, and then we've got some festivals out over there that we've never played before. There's a festival called Tea in the Pot, which is more of a kind of like a mainstream festival. So for us, that's something quite new. So that'll be exciting. So we do a few of those festivals, and then we come back out to America with Breaking Benjamin, kind of like mid-August.
Yeah.
And then that'll be for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then beyond that, it's just we're trying to figure out more plans at the moment.
Yeah.
That's kind of like coming over here and.
We're going to go to Europe, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to go to Europe because we haven't been to kind of the mainland in Europe in a couple of years because we've spent so much time touring here, and then we're going to do a headline tour back over here as well this year. So hopefully,
in the UK as well.
and in the UK again. So hopefully a full calendar.